Did you know that the very first hour after you wake up can determine whether you live into your 90s or not? It sounds shocking, but the science is undeniable. Most people unknowingly sabotage their longevity every single morning before they even finish breakfast. In today's video, I'm going to reveal 7 powerful morning rituals practiced by men and women who routinely live well past 90. And here's the astonishing part: habit number 4 takes less than 30 seconds, yet it can add years, sometimes decades, to your life. These are not wild claims or hidden secrets sold in books. These are practices quietly lived out by the world's longest living elders, backed by evidence that even the most skeptical doctors can't ignore. But before we dive in, let me tell you about Harold. At 65, Harold was surrounded by friends falling victim to the usual struggles of aging: heart troubles, fading memory, stiff joints. It felt inevitable. Yet today, at 93, Harold still lives on his own. He drives himself to the farmer's market, cooks his meals, and even spends 3 mornings a week tending a community garden. So, what made the difference? Surely it must be genetics, right? Wrong. Nearly every member of Harold's family passed away before reaching 75. His secret began at 65, when he attended a health seminar that introduced him to 7 small morning habits. They weren't dramatic overhauls. No costly treatments. Just simple, consistent changes in what he did within the first hour after waking. Those choices became the foundation of a life not only longer, but richer and more vibrant. When I asked him what truly saved his life, he didn't hesitate. It was what I did in the first hour of my day. That's what kept me alive. And today, I'll pass those exact habits on to you. So the question is, are you ready to discover the morning blueprint that can transform your health after 60 and possibly carry you into your 90s with strength and clarity? Let's begin. Habit number 1, drink water the moment you wake up. Do you know what's happening inside your body right now? If you haven't had a sip of water yet this morning, your blood is already thicker than it should be. That means your heart is working overtime and your brain is under silent pressure before you've even started the day. The very first thing long-lived people do in the morning is not reaching for a phone, turning on the news, or sipping coffee. They drink water. And timing is everything. Researchers at Harvard Medical School discovered that overnight dehydration accelerates the aging process by as much as 31%. Dr. Jessica Rothman, head of nephrology at Harvard, explains. During sleep, your body steadily loses water. By morning, blood becomes more concentrated, a condition we call morning thick blood. This forces the heart to pump harder, while tiny blood vessels in the brain and kidneys take the damage. Over years, that damage adds up and speeds up aging. Let me share the story of Sylvia. At 72, she was living with chronic kidney disease, constant fatigue, and frequent memory lapses. Her doctor was already discussing the possibility of dialysis. Then she started one small ritual, drinking 16 ounces of water immediately upon waking, before even setting foot on the floor. Within just 60 days, her kidney function improved by 28%. Her doctor stared at her blood results in disbelief and asked, "What medication are you on?" Her answer? Nothing but water. First thing in the morning. Here's how to do it right. Tonight, place a full glass of water on your nightstand. Tomorrow morning, before you reach for slippers, drink it all in one go. Skip the coffee or tea until afterward, only water counts. Room temperature works best. Cold water can shock your system when it's still in recovery mode from sleep. Make this non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, every organ in your body is crying out for hydration. Don't make them wait. So, let me ask you, are you ready to commit to this one simple habit, a habit that can protect your kidneys, lighten your heart's workload, and extend your health span? For people who live past 90, this isn't optional. It's mandatory. Will tomorrow morning be the first step in your transformation? Habit number 2, step into morning light. Here's a question: could you be unknowingly sabotaging your body clock every morning? If you don't get natural sunlight within 30 minutes of waking, the answer is yes. You're missing out on one of the most powerful longevity triggers science has ever uncovered. According to the National Institute on Aging, exposure to morning sunlight within 30 minutes of waking increases nighttime melatonin production by 73%. That means deeper sleep, stronger metabolism, sharper memory, and better health across the board. Dr. Andrew Peterson, a leading researcher on circadian rhythm and aging, puts it this way. Morning sunlight flips the switch on hormonal processes that control everything from sleep quality to energy use to cognitive function for the next 24 hours. Skipping that signal is linked to a 37% higher risk of neurodegenerative disease after age 70. Let me tell you about Benjamin. At 75, he had battled chronic insomnia for decades. He tried sleeping pills, expensive supplements, even elaborate bedtime routines, but nothing worked long-term. Finally, his doctor gave him one surprisingly simple prescription: go outside for 10 minutes within the first half hour of waking. He committed to it, rain, shine, or snow. And within just 2 weeks, Benjamin was falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer. But here's what shocked him most. His blood pressure dropped by 15 points. The afternoon crashes he'd lived with for years vanished. All of it came from swapping his habit of drinking coffee indoors with drinking coffee on his front porch. So, here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, step outside within 30 minutes of waking. Even on cloudy days, outdoor light is 50 to 100 times stronger than indoor lighting, and it carries exactly the wavelengths your brain needs. If you're limited in movement, sitting by an open window helps. And in harsh winters, medical-grade light lamps can be a backup, but nature's light is always the gold standard. This isn't just about sleeping better. It's about resetting your body's master clock, slowing cellular aging, and protecting your brain for decades to come. So tell me, what's really stopping you from stepping outside tomorrow morning? Your body has been waiting all night for this signal. Don't let it wait another day. Habit number 3, gentle movement before breakfast. What you do before your first cup of coffee may determine how your knees feel when you're 80. Most people make a critical mistake. They sit still until after breakfast. What they don't realize is that this stillness sparks silent inflammation that accelerates joint damage. Doctors at the Mayo Clinic found that just a few minutes of light morning movement can reduce age-related joint degeneration by up to 65%. Dr. Lisa Monroe, head of geriatrics at Mayo, explains. Our studies show that light movement before eating activates a process called autophagy, cellular cleanup. It's like sweeping debris out of your joints. We measured significant differences in inflammation markers between older adults who moved before breakfast and those who waited until after. Take Harriet's story. At 68, she was scheduled for knee replacement surgery after years of arthritic pain. As a last attempt, her physical therapist urged her to try just 7 minutes of gentle morning movement before eating or drinking anything but water. 3 months later, her pain had eased so dramatically that the surgery was canceled. I thought my active days were over, Harriet said. But now I can play with my grandkids again. And it all started with a few minutes each morning. Here's how you can do it. After drinking your morning water, but before breakfast or coffee, spend 5 to 10 minutes gently moving. Roll your ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and wrists in small circles. Stand and sway side to side. Bend forward slightly, or touch your toes if you can. Keep movements slow and continuous. Comfort is the goal. That stiffness you feel first thing in the morning? That's your body begging for motion. These few minutes switch on longevity mechanisms that would otherwise stay dormant if you stayed seated. So imagine yourself at 85 or 90, still moving freely, still walking with ease. That doesn't come from luck or perfect genes. It comes from honoring this tiny ritual each morning. Will you join those who protect their joints before breakfast? Habit number 4, the 30-second breath that extends life. This is perhaps the simplest, yet most powerful ritual practiced by nearly every community where people thrive past 90. And yet, most of us completely overlook it. What if I told you that the way you breathe in the morning sets the tone for how your body responds to stress all day long, and in turn, can add or subtract years from your life? Researchers in the world's blue zones, regions where people often live to 100, found that purposeful morning breathing reduces cellular stress by 48%. Dr. Michael Cohen, a longevity researcher in Sardinia, explains, "We see measurable differences in inflammation and stress hormones between those who begin their day with intentional breathing and those who don't. This practice activates the vagus nerve, signaling safety to the body. That allows energy to be invested in healing and longevity instead of mere survival." In Sardinian mountain villages, where men routinely live vigorous lives into their late 90s, scientists observed the same ritual. Each morning, before any work began, they stood on their porches and practiced slow, deliberate breaths. Their heart rates and cortisol patterns looked closer to men decades younger. One 96-year-old shepherd put it simply, "I breathe in the morning to prepare for a good day. If I skip it, I feel weaker by noon." Here's the 30-second technique that can change your day and your health. After drinking your morning water, ideally outside in natural light, close your eyes. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 7 seconds. Exhale fully through your mouth for 8 seconds, making a soft whoosh. Repeat 3 to 4 cycles. That's it. 30 seconds is all it takes to shift your body from stress mode to longevity mode. It may sound too simple to be powerful, but science proves otherwise. This one practice measurably lowers blood pressure, eases inflammation, and balances stress hormones. So tomorrow morning, ask yourself, can you spare 30 seconds? It may be the most valuable investment in health you'll ever make. And here's a question for you. Are you even breathing fully right now as you listen? Probably not. Most of us only use about a third of our lung capacity. Tomorrow morning, you can change that and perhaps change the course of your entire day. Habit number 5, a breakfast built for longevity. For decades, Gerald's mornings looked the same, toast and coffee, day after day. By his late 60s, his blood markers painted a grim picture: elevated cholesterol, creeping blood sugar, inflammation. His doctor warned him that medication would soon be necessary. But Gerald made one single change. He swapped out his old breakfast for a meal rich in protein and fiber. 6 months later, his blood work came back nearly flawless. "The only thing I changed was breakfast," Gerald said, shaking his head. "My doctor couldn't believe that one meal could reverse such dangerous trends." Here's the simple formula Gerald used, and one you can begin tomorrow morning. Start with quality protein, eggs, Greek yogurt, or even plant-based protein if you prefer. Add fiber-rich foods, berries, chia seeds, oats, or vegetables. Include healthy fats, avocado, nuts, or a drizzle of olive oil. Avoid refined carbs before 10 a.m. They spike insulin, trigger inflammation, and accelerate aging. The beauty of this habit is that it doesn't steal extra time. You're already eating breakfast, you're simply switching what's on your plate. And those choices decide whether you feed longevity pathways or disease pathways. So ask yourself, do you really want to gamble with your health after 70 by sticking with sugary cereals, white toast, or pastries? Or will tomorrow morning be the day you start fueling your body with a breakfast that strengthens, restores, and protects? It may seem like a small decision, but over the years, the compounding effect is enormous. Tomorrow's breakfast could quite literally reshape the rest of your life. Habit number 6, morning human connection. There's a ritual more powerful for longevity than any supplement on the shelf: human connection. Science now shows that isolation is as harmful to your body as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But here's what most people miss: the timing of that connection is almost as important as the connection itself. The Harvard study of adult development, the world's longest-running research on human health and happiness, discovered that meaningful morning social contact adds more years to life expectancy than quitting smoking or exercising alone. Dr. Robert Miller, who leads the latest phase of the study, explains, We found that people who engaged in meaningful morning interaction before 10 a.m. had a 29% lower risk of death from all causes. Morning conversations appear to set beneficial neurotransmitter patterns that strengthen both the heart and the immune system throughout the day. The lesson is clear: start your mornings with people, not screens. In Okinawa, Japan, home to some of the longest living women in the world, neighbors gather every morning for a few minutes of conversation before their day begins. Sometimes it's about the weather, sometimes it's about family, but always it's about connection. A 97-year-old woman there explained, "If I don't talk to someone in the morning, my whole day feels wrong. We check on each other every morning. That's how we've lived this long." When researchers measured her inflammation markers, they found she was biologically decades younger than peers who lived in isolation. Here's how you can start tomorrow. Call a friend or loved one for just 3 minutes. If you live with others, create a morning ritual of conversation instead of passing silently by. If you live alone, meet a neighbor once a week to begin. Consistency matters more than length. And if nothing else, even a brief, genuine chat with a barista or store clerk can carry surprising biological benefits. Connection must become non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. No supplement, no workout can substitute for it. So let me ask you, who will you connect with tomorrow morning? Your body is waiting for that signal, just as much as it waits for water or food. Habit number 7, morning gratitude, feeding the soul before the day begins. We've talked about water, sunlight, movement, breath, food, and human connection. All powerful. But the 7th habit may be the most important of them all, because it doesn't strengthen just the body. It strengthens the spirit. Here's the truth: people who live past 90 share something you won't find in a pill bottle or at the gym. They carry with them a daily practice of gratitude, small, intentional moments of reflection that shift the way they experience life. Researchers at UC Berkeley and the Mayo Clinic have shown that gratitude literally rewires the brain, lowers inflammation, and reduces stress hormones. In fact, a consistent gratitude practice has been linked to lower blood pressure, better immune function, and even longer telomeres, the very markers of biological aging. But beyond the science, gratitude shapes how you walk through the world. It softens bitterness, dissolves loneliness, and reminds you that even in struggle, life still offers gifts. Let me tell you about Evelyn. At 84, she had lost her husband, many friends, and even some of her independence. Each morning she woke with heaviness in her chest. Her doctor encouraged her to try something simple. Every morning, before breakfast, write down 3 things she was grateful for. At first, she resisted. "What do I have to be grateful for?" she asked. But she started small: the warmth of my blanket, the song of a bird outside, the smile of a nurse. Slowly, her list grew. Within months, her family noticed a change. She smiled more. She laughed again. She slept better. When asked what had shifted, she held up a little notebook filled with gratitude entries and said, "This saved me more than any prescription." So how can you begin? Here's a simple ritual. Keep a small notebook by your bedside. Each morning, after water and before the busyness of the day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. They don't have to be grand. A sunrise, a phone call, even the gift of waking up itself is enough. If writing feels difficult, simply close your eyes and name them to yourself. Whisper them out loud. Let your brain hear your own voice acknowledging what is good. Why does this matter so much? Because gratitude sets the emotional tone of your entire day. It reduces the weight of stress, sharpens your focus on what matters, and strengthens the resilience of your heart and mind. The longest-lived elders in the world don't start their mornings with worry. They start with thanks. That is their secret. So I'll ask you, tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, before you open the news, can you take 60 seconds to give thanks? Can you mark down just 3 things? Because this is how you complete the morning ritual. 6 habits protect your body. The 7th habit guards your soul. And together, they form the foundation of a longer, healthier, more meaningful life. So there you have it, The 7 morning habits shared by those who live not just longer, but better. Drink water the moment you wake. Step into morning light. Move gently before breakfast. Breathe with intention. Eat a protein and fiber-rich meal. Connect with someone who matters. And finally, begin your day with gratitude. Each of these on its own can change your health. But together, they form a powerful blueprint, the kind of routine that protects your heart, clears your mind, strengthens your body, and calms your spirit. Think of it this way: every morning is a fresh page. You choose what gets written in that first chapter of the day. Do you fill it with chaos, stress, and habits that age you faster? Or do you anchor it with rituals that slow time, deepen joy, and keep you strong well into your 80s and 90s? Walter, Gerald, Sylvia, Benjamin, Harriet, Evelyn, ordinary people who chose extraordinary mornings. They didn't buy longevity. They built it, one habit at a time. And if they can do it, so can you. So tomorrow, when you open your eyes, remember this: the first hour isn't just another 60 minutes. It's your chance to set the course for decades of health, energy, and clarity. Now, before you go, if you found even one of these habits valuable, help us spread this message. Hit the like button, share this video with a friend who needs it, and subscribe to Wise Elders Tales so you don't miss the next life-changing insight. And tell me in the comments, which habit will you start tomorrow morning? Your story might inspire someone else to begin their journey too. This is Wise Elders Tales, where we honor the lessons of longevity, one story at a time. Until next time, may your mornings be powerful and your years be many.